keep the light on.
Well done.
I need you to be my eyes, old friend. We got glasses, bow tie, that oddly enough are not 3D glasses.
No.
I spent like 20 minutes peeling the film off of these fuckers.
Took embarrassingly longer than it should have to figure out that these weren't the 3D glasses.
Well, they're the ones they handed to us. We had to go back for the actual 3D ones.
I feel like I have to look like the lady from the Old Navy commercials from about 10 years ago.
You know what it is? It's Elton John.
Is it Elton John? Okay.
Damn it. Oh, that's why they were handing them out. We did get an Elton John ad before the movie.
We did, yes.
I don't know why these aren't the 3D. They handed us these, and then it had like peel. We put them on, and of course blurry, and then it said peel film off of lens. I'm like, that seems
on the front and on the back.
On the front and on the back. I have no fingernails, so I couldn't. I'm like, damn, this is really gonna suck because I'm scratching the shit out of this. Like one fingerprint on those 3D glasses, and it just completely fucks the whole thing up. And then we figured out, oh, they're not 3D glasses. But even still, like, what's with the fucking film on the goddamn thing?
My theory is that they gave us like the hip Peabody glasses in an effort to get us to recycle the actual 3D ones.
That's a possibility.
I hope
Maybe.
they don't start doing that. I like gimmicky
I hope
3D
they
glasses.
do, because I like gimmicky regular old glasses.
But what'll happen if you try watching something 3D at home? You'll have these foggy glasses.
Crystal clear.
I love the conversation I heard from the group of kids on the way out of the theater.
Oh yeah, you were gonna say.
Oh, I was on my way to the bathroom, and there's a part in the movie where different figures are popping up in New York because there's a hole in the space-time continuum. So one of the figures that pops up, President Clinton comes in and just goes, "I've done worse." And so, like, since Bill Clinton's still alive, does that mean that he just happens to be there when, like, King Tut and all these people are flying down? But anyway, these kids, they were like maybe 10 or something, and I was heading off to the bathroom, and one of them was like, one of them goes, "Was that Clinton at the end?" And the other kid goes like, "I thought it was Nixon." And then the other kid goes, "No, it was JFK."
Oh, fuck. The
conversation continued in the bathroom. It did. Like, they were standing there, they were washing their hands, I could hear them. And they're like 9, 10. They're like kind of talking, and you could tell that they weren't like together in the movie, they just kind of knew each other. And so one of the kids goes, "What did you think of the movie?" And the other kid just goes, "Funny as shit." I just stepped through his time continuum. That's me and Dave 20 years ago.
Funny as shit, man.
I thought the movie was really, really good. Of course it is. It's the kids' movie Jake missed out on.
Jake would have been mad, though, because there's just the sheer number of puns in this movie.
Which goes along with the TV series, because I grew up watching the show, and the movie, honestly, is a pretty faithful adaptation.
Yeah.
I mean, they certainly modernize it by tossing in some poop jokes, but
a lot of poop jokes.
Other than that, I mean, it still has Peabody's historical puns. I mean, there's parts that just feel like a straight out episode of the show. Like,
I like the parts were like genuinely educational.
Me too.
Like Robespierre was there, and I know that methane gas apparently ignites at 306 degrees Fahrenheit.
You're right. It is, and that's totally like the show. Like, it's got like humor like that in there for history buffs, people who remember history class, and then poop jokes with the kids. Which even some of those were still kind of funny. But
like the Trojan horse pooping.
Oh, that was great.
At the back of the Sphinx. Or even just when they're like, "Oh, she's pooping." I mean, playing hide and seek. I mean, pooping.
Yeah, it even does have the little lesson about the methane gas too. It's a smart poop joke. And at the end too, it even has the little guy who, on the series, was always sweeping away at the end.
I was really happy when that guy showed up.
Me too.
Like,
that made me really, really happy. Of all the movies that have been based on like Rocky and Bullwinkle stuff, this is probably the best one.
But you didn't like the Rocky and Bullwinkle?
Honestly, I thought that movie was okay.
I owned it on VHS. I'm not knocking it.
Yeah, I think this
Frank,
is
Solitaire.
Yeah, I didn't hate that movie at all. Like, I liked this movie better, but this movie's also way better than when they did that Boris and Natasha movie from
yeah.
the early 90s.
I forgot about that.
That was bad.
Like Jason Alexander and Rene Russo?
No, that was the Rocky and Bullwinkle
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, okay. What was the movie then?
I think it was Sally Kellerman who played Natasha. Boris, I can't remember, honestly. I haven't seen that since it debuted on video. But that was this one though, like it even having grown up watching the TV series, I really liked all the backstory that they were giving to Peabody and Sherman in the movie, like showing how he was able to adopt this boy. And I would have laughed even harder if, like, when it was showing Peabody's flashbacks, like when he was a puppy and everything, if that was done in the animation, like the TV series.
That would have been nice.
That would have been kind of funny, but
I like the way they kind of expounded on the relationship between
Yeah.
Peabody and Sherman without, changing the dynamic of the characters.
yeah, because really they do still have, like you said, the same dynamic as in the show. Like, Peabody says a silly joke, Sherman doesn't get it, or he kind of scoffs and rolls his eyes. Even, like, the questions that he keeps asking, what are we going to do now, Mr. Peabody? Well, Sherman. And even, like, this stuff, I always loved this about the show, that no matter what era they went to, no matter who they found, it was just perfectly normal that all of a sudden there's a dog and this boy there, like, oh, I'm having trouble coming up with this symphony. Are you okay, Beethoven? Yes, I'm fine. I just need to bake this cake first. Like, it's like they're old friends.
It was, I looked it up, it was Dave Thomas was Boris.
Dave Thomas was... Oh, okay.
Featuring John Travolta as John Travolta.
Travolta was in that?
Yeah.
Tells you how long since it's been since I've seen that fucking movie.
I remember literally nothing about this movie.
Me too. I just remember being like, well, this sucks. But I really thought this movie was charming as hell, and honestly, slightly more historically accurate than the movie I saw last night.
What did you see last night?
300. 300 Rise of an Empire.
What? I thought that was going to be like a...
That's what I thought. Bullshit. Yeah, I'd recommend it.
I would too.
Yeah, no, that was fun. It was fun. I'm sitting there the whole time. I was enjoying the movie in the back of my brain. The art kid in me that always loved the aesthetic of the cartoons was missing that, but...
Me too.
But at the same time, I can't blame them for not doing that. I can't get upset about that.
Yeah, like... Would I have liked it if it was that same... Sure.
I would have loved it,
Yeah,
but...
I absolutely... Even in the ending credits, it even shows them...
Yeah, in the ending credits,
yeah.
they had that... Mm-hmm. They had a little... Like, they did that kind of in that angular...
Yeah.
What, 60s? Yeah, 60s style.
Late
of
50s, 60s.
But, I mean, I always loved that style of animation. With just the way they did the backgrounds and everything.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I can't blame them for not trying to do that in the movie, you know?
Yeah, and regardless, the animation is really good.
Yeah, it really was. The 3D wasn't too bad. There was a few points where I didn't like it, but I don't like when they get so atmospheric that they're like, hey, there's this stuff that's really up close and you're looking past it. Like, that annoys the fuck out of me.
Yeah, they did it a couple times with, like, the fencing
Yeah.
foil and so
Oh,
forth.
when it's pointed right at the camera?
No, I don't mind that. I love that.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, I like that too.
When 3D's coming right at me, that's great. That's when it's best. I love campy,
So do I.
like cheesy 3D, but what I'm talking about is when they're doing something that's obviously meant to be atmospheric, like the focal point's way in the background, but there's just this weird stuff that's hanging out in the foreground that's really 3D, and I just find that distracting.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, because I noticed that in the movie too. It didn't necessarily take me out of it. Maybe because I'm so used to it at this point.
And they only
but I know
did it
exactly
a couple
what you're
times,
saying.
but I don't like that because I immediately focus on the thing you're not supposed to
So do
focus
I.
on. You know, and
I do that too.
But they did it like twice.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, honestly, that was pretty damn fun. And it was worth it for the fucking Spartacus joke.
The Spartacus popping
That
up,
was
who looks like Kirk
perfectly timed.
Douglas.
It was perfect comedic timing.
Yeah.
Because as soon as my brain went, oh, there it is.
And Patrick Warburton popping up too.
I guess
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, that was That was good, and I was spending some of it. I was because I knew he was in it. He's all over the previews for it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, when's he gonna pop up? He looks hilarious in the preview. He was. I mean, he's Patrick Warburton shit out of it again, of course. But yeah, he had some good jokes in it.
Like when he stole that lady.
That was funny.
And like, there's an evil villain lady in this
Miss
movie,
Grunion.
and she's basically the bad guy from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, or not Goblet of Fire, which is the one with the evil frog lady.
Oh,
I keep thinking Madame Morrible, but that's a similar character from Wicked. Anyway, she's that lady. But she wants to take Sherman away from Mr. Peabody. And at the end, Agamemnon decides that he's in love with her and steals her off
Come here, you.
back to Troy. Mm-hmm. And luckily she's into it, because otherwise it would have been kidnapping and rape.
yeah. No, that was my major gripe with the movie, was they used that character to add tension to a movie that would have been just fine without her, in my opinion. I could have done without that character completely, and I would have been much happier with the movie. That's my only real complaint.
I agree with that. It didn't really need. It didn't really need that kind of villain that only exists to be completely two-dimensionally evil. Mm-hmm. Like, there's not a shred of any kind of human emotion in this, other than just being purely evil, because they want the movie to have a villain. And it would have been most of the conflict in the movie could have still existed without that character.
No, that character was there for the big ending touching moment,
which still could have existed without that character.
Still could have been just fine because they built up to it already. But yeah, there was enough conflict and reason for that same story to progress without that character. But they want to put a villain in it. They put a fucking villain in it.
And she's not in it much.
No, and it didn't hurt the movie. I found it unnecessary. That's all.
It stressed me out at parts that I really didn't need to be stressed out at a children's movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
The audience seemed to like it, except for the crying baby.
Which one?
So sad.
There was two.
Were there?
There's
one on each side.
Oh. So
that's why it sounded like it was in stereo.
Oh, yeah, I just thought the baby was in stereo.
No, every time one baby started crying, the other baby started crying.
They were communicating.
Yes.
It sounded less like a baby and more like a tornado siren. She's like, and then just stop.
At least this is the first time in quite a while I can think of where the screaming baby at a movie was at an actual kids movie.
Yeah.
Before that, it was RoboCop.
Oh, God.
Before that, it was Battleship.
You know what? The RoboCop people, it was annoying as hell that the baby was in there and the baby cried once at the beginning, but apparently that baby liked explosions because that baby didn't make a fucking noise once the movie started. So.
Yeah, and at RoboCop, though, like we said during that, the baby was the least annoying thing because there was the guy sitting behind you.
Oh, I was gonna hurt him. I didn't like that person.
You were mean mugging him, man. That was great.
He was explaining the movie to the person with him through the entire movie.
He was one of those guys.
And after about the 8th time, I just finally stopped watching the movie and just kind of held this position for a minute or two.
He did
until the girl that was with him was just like, "You need to stop now."
Honey, you could take him.
He's hired to call you a pussy.
Man, the previews were wrong. This RoboCop's a hard R. As long as you're with the right audience.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, the best conflict was between Peabody and Sherman's relationship evolving, and also with that idiot little girl.
Yeah.
She was pissing me off because she was such a bad influence, and kind of a brat. But I like a flawed character like that. She was there to be a love interest, but she was also there to be a rabble rouser. Yeah.
I thought that was somebody coming in on the side of her. What the fuck? Oh man, I really need new glasses.
Just scrape the fog off of those ones.
Or the film. The stupid film! God damn it!
Hand me the glasses.
Oh, he wants one.
No. I'm seeing this through. Till the bitter end, I'm gonna be wearing these damn things. This looks really kind of awesome when I'm waving my hands in front of these.
Do you feel like
things.
You just got out of the shower and put your glasses on?
No, I feel like I sat through that Beatles Cirque du Soleil thing they were advertising at the beginning of this.
I loved when you guys announced loudly, I'd go see that. I'd have to take some shrooms first.
Sometimes I forget that I'm in a kids movie.
Same here.
Like, because we were talking about the fake Mark Wahlberg on Doug Loves Movies, and I'm sitting there in the theater, and I quoted one of them, like, "You fucking with me, bro?" or something like that. And then, like, a second later, I'm like, I really hope no one heard me say that. It didn't. No. The worst thing was I told Sarah about this. I didn't want to say it and tell you the story in the theater because, well, when I was at MagFest, I was sitting in the audience of one of the panels, and a dude comes up to me and does the Magnum condom joke from It's Always Sunny. He comes up and he goes like, "Oops, sorry, Snob. I just dropped my Magnum condom for my monster dong." Anyway, I started cracking up and the guy left. And then so I was sitting there just with it, like, okay, so I just put it in my pocket. I mean, it was unwrapped. Sorry, it was wrapped. It was wrapped. Then I definitely would have put it in my pocket. No. It's right here. So anyway, I just put it in my pocket. Whatever. I almost got trash in my pocket, so I kind of forgot it was there. Anyway, I went up to concessions and got popcorn and soda and was feeling around my pocket for my card. Took it out and some stuff landed, and then that fucking condom just boop right there on the thing, and the guy saw it, and I just was like, oh, sorry, put it back there, and the dude was the big black dude there, so he saw it and goes, "No, it's okay, man, I feel you."
Going to that dude every time.
Yeah.
All your Magnum condoms for your monster.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just dropped my Magnum condom for my monster popcorn. Well, we've talked about cursing, condoms, and all sorts of stuff for this kids' movie review.
My favorite line in the entire movie was, okay, so like, at one point there's 2 Shermans and 2 Mr. Peabodys, because they're trying really hard not to rip a hole in the fabric of the space-time continuum, and that'll happen if the 2 Shermans collide with each other. So in a second, Mr. Peabody runs in, he's like, Sherman, I came from back in time to make sure you don't touch yourself."
Yeah.
And I laughed and laughed, and most of the children didn't.
Yeah.
That was one of those jokes that was put in just for the adults.
Like the Oedipus joke.
Oh, the Oedipus joke. Yeah, the Oedipus joke
I
was
laughed
good.
at that. That was good.
Like, none of those kids got the Spartacus joke either.
We sure as hell
That
did.
was just for the 3 of us, I think. Because Brad and I were laughing really loud right there, and everyone else, it was just like crickets.
I thought they actually did kill him off for a second. I was like, oh, okay, wow.
The movie took a turn.
It's like, Jesus, well, that subconscious is dead.
I knew he wasn't dead.
There was a second, like, wow, it kind of is keeping going here with this whole conflict of him being dead and them having to go to the other Peabody in the present to help them. I was like, oh my god, Mr. Peabody, no.
I find that very hard to believe.
That was funny. He was finding it hard to believe that he'd ever die. He doesn't. But,
Or maybe
I'm sorry,
does.
spoiler. Spoiler, Mr. Peabody doesn't die. I liked the montage with him raising Sherman.
Oh, that was,
Oh,
really
that was sweet.
They played
Yeah.
a
That was-
beautiful boy over it.
That was really charming.
That was on the adorableness level of the opening of Up, before it got dark.
Yeah.
That was really, it was really cool seeing something like that, having watched the show for however many years.
And honestly, that little scene, for just one little segment, they had one of the best 3D animated movie effects I've ever seen, where it went from the still photograph into the live action real slow.
Oh yeah,
That was really well done.
yeah.
Because they did it really well.
Yeah, I totally recommend it.
Oh yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It was really sweet and charming. If you're a fan of the show, there will be little things in there that you'll really like. Honestly, even if you've never seen the show, really, even if you didn't like Rocky and Bullwinkle, you might like it because Jake didn't like Rocky and Bullwinkle. I kind of think he might have liked this all right.
Yeah. The puns might have killed him a little bit, but at the same time, the puns weren't just puns in for the sake of putting in a pun. It was
They're like
a throwback
dad
to the
puns.
character, you know?
That's exactly what it was.
But at the same time, you know, Jake liked Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs too, and that was nothing but amazing puns. Seriously.
Yeah.
That was nothing but puns, and it was amazing. Previews. We can talk about previews. What previews did we get?
How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Which looks adorable.
Yeah, it does.
The first one was... I love the first one. That's a fantastic movie.
I've honestly never seen it.
It's great.
What?
It's honestly
I've never
great.
seen
I think I own it. I'll lend it to you.
Yeah, I'll totally watch it.
It was-
I'll have to. I told Jake I'd go to the kids' movies with him this year.
It was one of those movies that I told myself I don't ever want to see that, and then I had to sit down and watch it with one of my nieces and nephews, and I was way more into it than they were.
Oh.
Why didn't you want to see it?
It just the previews didn't make it look very good, honestly, when they were promoting that movie.
For me, with kids' movies, you can never take those
Yeah.
at face value.
Yeah, because, like, I didn't care much for the previews of, I wasn't that sold on the previews for Frozen when I first got them, but I really
Well, they
liked...
focused all on the snowman.
I remember the previews for The Emperor's New Groove being atrocious, and that's one of my
I
favorite Disney movies.
loved those previews.
Yeah, I did
Those
too.
previews sold my ass. Like, I was there opening day for that movie. Rio 2, that looks stupid.
That looks horrible.
Again, I never saw the first one. I don't know if I'll watch the first one to go see the second
No,
one.
it's not worth it.
I don't even know if the first one is supposed to be any good.
I don't think it. From what if I remember correctly, it wasn't.
Have you seen it?
Hell no. It's about dancing birds. It wasn't for me.
Strict no dancing birds policy.
I draw the line at dancing
She doesn't
birds.
have a lot of rules, but that's one
Dancing
of
birds?
them. Oh yeah.
Fuck that.
No.
Although
I
you
just don't buy it, except for Rockin'.
Rockadoodle?
Yes, that is the exception.
Follow that bird.
Yeah.
The blue bird of happiness.
It's more of a shuffle than a dance.
It's the better Dave Thomas movie.
Oh,
What the fuck else do we...
when the McKenzie brothers were evil. that still makes me sad.
What did... okay, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Rio 2...
There was at least two more.
Yeah, we didn't get just 2 trailers. Although, when it was showing the Wayback Machine in this movie, it was reminding me of the giant red ball that makes your soda
Oh,
on the
yeah.
AMC bumper ads. So much so to where I was like, has this just been a tie-in thing all along?
Maybe they'll stop doing the AMC Red Ball. I hate those ads. I hate them so much.
I
I
find
don't really have a strong opinion about him. I think the weirdly urban one is hilarious, but
Yeah. I think, honestly, the reason I hate them is that we all go see movies so often.
Every
that
single
we
week.
see that all the time that it's just...
yeah. Especially given how by the time that shut your cell phone off one pops up, that's the 3rd time during
If you're
the
lucky,
pre-show
sometimes it's
thing.
the 4th.
that
because they got like the big robot with the straw.
Yes.
They've got the dots on
camel.
bikes.
Well, no, not the 3rd time that you see the dots. The 3rd time that they do a shut off your phone preview.
Yeah.
Oh,
They have
okay.
the camel.
Movie day.
Movie day.
I can't help, but that one makes me laugh.
That one,
like the
honestly, that
camel.
that one does make me laugh. They have the camel. They have the one that's just the AMC screen that says "Turn your
Yeah.
phones off." They have that one, and then they do the one with the girl walking her phone
And it gets eaten by a bear.
and gets eaten by a fucking bear. I get it.
Yeah.
I fucking get it.
Yeah, honestly, it's been a long time since I've been in a movie and someone's phone went off. I think it's just one of those things people get now.
I can't. The last time I can think of where someone was in the theater and I noticed that they were playing on their phone, it was the old lady that was in the Paranoia, the Harrison Ford movie, and I just did not give a fuck because that
Yeah,
movie
and-
sucked.
Anymore, when people are playing with their phones, it's not so much because it's making a noise, but because it's lighting up their big dumb face.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like, like you said, if it's a movie I don't particularly care about, it's not going to bug me, but if it does, it's going to be distracting in my periph.
We also sit pretty close to the screen, too. For all we know, there's a bunch of motherfuckers behind us playing on their phone.
Yeah.
So, honestly, given the time we usually go see these movies, usually there's only like a few other people there. Like this was
It's
crowded.
the most crowded theater I've been in for a while.
And
Yeah.
that's only because we had to see this on Friday night because they didn't give it a pre-screening.
Yeah. Friday night at like prime time.
Yeah. Well, 300. Actually, yeah, 300 was kind of crowded last night.
Well, we're getting back into that season where the movie nerds are gonna start. It's blockbuster season starting up slowly but surely.
That's why we're getting the Tyler Perry movie next week.
I don't have to go.
You want to go with me, Sarah? Tyler Perry. It'll be really good.
And you owe me another musical.
Is it a musical?
No, I'm saying you owe me another musical if I go to a Tyler Perry movie with you.
Oh, okay. I'll watch a musical.
I don't want to go see the movie. I want to sit in for the review. I just want to sit in the back and be smug about it.
No, I haven't actually been to one of the Tyler Perry ones, so I think I'm probably about due.
We both are.
We can do this together, old chum.
We can do this, old friend.
You know what?
Calling old.
It's just an expression. Oh, God.
Hey!
That's why they gave us this.
I broke the strap on mine.
Oh, no.
It's alright.
Too
You
much-
can't have mine.
I still got my glasses.
Too much chagrin, that was your problem. Hey.
I remember now. This is the only thing I liked about working at the movie theater.
I was playing with your bow tie.
Yeah, because when I was there, we had to wear bow ties.
I feel like I want to wear it on my head.
Yeah, I thought about that earlier when
I'm
they
pretty.
gave us this.
Say something about the Ghostbusters again for me.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
Ghostbusters, yes, we're back.
Thank you
recall her
for
having a bow
that.
tie on her head. Whoop, hip.
I just...
Any final words, final thoughts? It's good. It's really funny. Like, it figures the year that I told Jake, like, I'll go to the kids' movies with you this year.
You get all the good ones.
Right? With the exception of the Nut Job, they've been really good. And the Nut Job it was not good at all, but it wasn't infuriatingly bad.
No, yeah, that was fun. That was definitely worth going to see.
So far, really good year for kids' movies.
Yeah.
You got any final words on it?
I'm going to see a Tyler Perry movie.
We're both going to see a Tyler Perry movie. The one opposite is that Need for Speed movie.
Oh,
I'm not going to see a Tyler Perry movie. Oh my god. I finally figured out one of the benefits to having two jobs. I don't have to go fucking see a Tyler Perry movie. Of course, I'm exhausted.
At least you don't have to sit through Tyler Perry.
Something's gonna happen and I'm gonna have to fucking go. And
Dave,
I'm just gonna...
I need your help.
Dave, I bootlegged it for you so you can watch it.
Oh, God.
No, it's at that point now where...
Someone risked prison
Now
time
that
to
other
make
people
that.
are willing to go, I kind of want to go just to be an asshole about it.
You gotta go, Dave. It's gonna be really fun. You're missing out.
Watch it be the first good one.
It
Watch
won't.
No, it won't.
What's
will
this
not.
one about, even?
It's about single moms that start a club.
It looks like Waiting to Exhale crossed with the First Wives Club,
Okay.
but with Tyler Perry as handsome love interest.
And writer-director.
Nope. It's 200 pounds of nope. So see you next week with that. Bye. I assume I'm looking at the camera.
200 pounds of nope.
Bye.